thing every day, right?
I would say whenever you close everything else, close this.
Exactly.
Just so that way your
Daily.
gallons and your dollars.
Like we close the deli around 2 o'clock or at
2 a.m.
morning, like 2 a.m. So we're gonna do it.
I would do the
So
same
like
thing.
every 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
24 hours or so approximately. Okay.
Yep, I would do that because then that way your numbers over here match up with here.
Okay, that's fine then.
So what you'll do is you'll hit close business day,
Okay.
and then your password's 1234. Then you hit submit, and then it'll come up here and ask. So right now, it just says we haven't been started, so yes, we want to start the process. And then it's going to ask you, do you want to close the shift? Basically saying, is anybody pumping that's on right now that needs to be on today and not the next day? So yes, you want to close the shift. And then hit finish here, and that's going to totalize everything. And then what you get is you're going to get 2 reports over here on the little printer. Basically, this one's going to show you any items that were sold, so like oils, additives, washer fluid, all that type of stuff. This one's going to be the summary. So this one's going to tell you up here at the top, it'll say sales, and it's going to give you the total amount. So let's say like $7,000 or whatever the amount is for diesel ran, total gallons over here. And then under tenders, it'll say com data EFS TCH total amount and then total number of transactions, so you can make sure you get paid on every one.
Okay.
It's pretty easy.
It's pretty easy, but very essential.
Okay.
So once that's done, go ahead and hit close here, or hit yes, and that's going to make a backup of everything and close everything. And then once everything's done, you'll get the check marks here. It'll tell you right here that you're complete, and yes, you want to exit as well. And it's going to bring you back out to the main screen once it saves everything, and you get a clean slate, basically a new day. And to start the next new day, you hit new shift, and then 1, 2, 3, 4.
Uncle,
submit.
how do you receive it?
And then once it comes up, hit finish. And that's going to bring you up into the point of sale where you can ring up transactions or you can ring up cards. So once it comes up here, so over here on the side, any of your checks are going to be under miscellaneous. So if you get that express code, you're going to hit miscellaneous. Now if they ask for a check and they have that 20-digit code, it's going to be an express check. If they have a printed check, like they've gone somewhere else and gotten them printed off $200 a piece, then it's going to be a check authorization. If you do a check authorization and hit OK, it's just going to ask you the check number and the dollar amount, just to make sure that basically it's good for the right amount. And that's all you need. You really don't need truck number on that one. And then we'll hit exit. And then, now if we go back here and go miscellaneous and say they give you the express code and hit OK, then you'll need the code number that they give you, the dollar amount that it's supposed to be for, whether they just have one check or if they have a stack of checks, and then you just put the check number over here. So
That would be the check number.
correct. This is your check number.
That would be the express
This is the
code,
really long code.
authorization code.
Correct. And you'll get this. This will print off the little printer or the big printer, and you'll just write it in there. Right here, pay to the order, you want to put 76 Express. That way you guys can deposit it in the bank and you don't have to worry about having a different name on the check.
Okay.
So everything else down here, they should fill out automatically for you. Sometimes they need telephone number, most of the time they don't. All they need is just the code number, the check number, and they make it out to
But
you
the
guys.
trouble is, if you take the check to the bank, they need the phone number. If they don't take the check to the bank, they need all the boxes filled.
Is that T-check or EFS? Or
Either
both
one,
all?
any check, they need all the boxes filled.
They need them all full. Okay. So go ahead and fill them all then. Make her life easier. So we'll exit out of that. Now normally if they're paying with a card, you'll hit fuel first. Click on the pump number that they're on. So let's just say they're on pump 17. Now if they get tractor fuel for the truck itself, you'll leave it alone. If they get reefer fuel for the trailer, you'll just check the box here for reefer. And then hit next. And then now you can put in the gallons or the amount, and you can just pull them right from UTS if you want to, or you can pull them from the receipt over here, either way.
Now one question, the fuel price that's showing in this box, is it connected to that?
No.
Okay.
Totally separate.
Okay. All right. So,
So we
say
can
if
put
the
any-
so say if the fuel price goes up or the fuel price goes down, we can click on there and change it. Ah.
Not right there.
Yeah.
Because that one just shows you. I'll show you how to change fuel prices later though.
Haha.
So what you'll do is say they get 100 gallons, you just type in 100 gallons, hit finish, and then double check the amount and make sure that the fuel price is right. It'll figure up the other one. Now at this point I always say ask them anything else, because if they want to get oil or additive or washer fluid or anything else over here, all the add-ons, that way you can add it to it as well.
So how we added like oil?
So what you'll do first is you'll type in the price. So say it's $21.99 or whatever, however much it is, and then say they want to get Rotella or an oil gallon. You'll type that, if you forget and hit the button and don't put in a price, it'll just tell you that tell it a price. So that way if prices change, you don't
So
have to
these
change
are
it.
like anything they want. Well, they want like a taxable or any
In addition to their fuel
non-taxable.
purchase.
Correct.
Okay.
So like if they want to get a bag of ice or candy bar or whatever, you can just throw it on those miscellaneous. You do have a cash advance button on here too. If you guys want to do it, you can. You don't have to, but it's up to you. So at this point, if that's everything that they want and that total's right, then you just take and slide the card. So you'll take and put the stripe toward you. Slide the card. Now here it's going to ask you, the cashier. Sorry. So just go ahead and put, you know, whoever's initials there. Now for my card, all I need is a truck number. So I don't drive a truck. I can just put a 0 in there. It'll go through. Most of the time, you'll ask the driver what they need, and they'll tell you everything here. So if it's mileage, it's hub meter, truck, driver ID, or your top 3. It'll automatically pull city and state and company name off the card. So you don't have to type that or don't have to tell anybody. So you'll hit authorize, it'll dial out, tell you successful or failed. If the receipt fails, it'll come off the little printer just like we did before. If it's successful, it comes off the big printer.
Okay.
So, and then to void anything, you just go void item and it erases whatever you did. Now transactions, you can go in here and do a reprint of a transaction for up to 3 years. So if somebody comes in here a month from now and says, hey, my receipt blew out of my truck, or I need an extra receipt or whatever, you can go in here and sort it by date and time if they know when they're here, or you can sort it by company name. It's a whole lot faster most of the time, and that way you can just find the newest to oldest. The other really good shortcut is if you take and slide the card, hit reprint transaction, it'll look up all the card numbers, or look up by this card number at this location, all the transactions, and just give you a list of them. So for me, it knows I've only done one. So it just says, do you want a small thermal receipt, or do you want a dot matrix, a big receipt? So it just automatically looks up the last one for you. So it makes it a little bit easier. So basically that's your buttons up here. Of course, quantity, that's gonna be for if they get like 4 gallons of oil, you can hit 4 quantity, $19.99. You know, oil quart, oil gallon, and it'll total it up for you. Now say for instance the card doesn't slide. So when the stripe's all worn out or it's cracked in half and then you try to put it in a plastic bag, that doesn't work. You can type in the manual card here. So just right here in this box, just type in the card number. And then just hit manual card over here. And then it'll ask you, okay, these are the type of cards that can be associated with this number. So it's a BFS MasterCard. And you just tell them on this one because it's got the MasterCard. And then it pulls it up for you.
How about refund? If you're gonna refund.
Yeah.
If what?
Refunds.
Refunds?
Yeah.
You just go transaction, and then you can just go void, and it'll void the transaction. Now, the one catch on that is say they come in one day and you charge them $2,000 accidentally instead of $200. You can go in and void it, but it's going to take a day or 2 to get them the money back. Because they got to pull it from you guys' numbers and kick it back. So, basically it's the same thing on there. They can take your money real quick, but to give it back, they take forever.
Okay, say God forbid we ever have to call this number. What information do we have to provide them? The account number, blah, 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 blah,
Nope,
blah.
you just give them this number down here. So just the Trendar ID.
Awesome.
ID हो गई था मैंने.
Then I also put the number
पहला
up
फोन
here,
हमन
too.
करो करावांगे.
So then that way, they don't call him at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
They can call this number.
And they can give them that.
Yep. And the nice thing is we can see the screen on here through the internet.
Ta-da.
So then that way we can see what you see and they can help you out. Now, third shift is like third shift anywhere. There's only like 5 people that work instead of like during the day when there's 35. So it may be a little bit slower, but you'll still get somebody even on a Sunday at 2 o'clock in the morning or on a holiday.
और सबको लग गया समझ.
So that's your buttons up here. Now one last thing, so say somebody pays for their diesel, but they pay on their Discover card or their debit card or whatever, and they just ask you for the big receipt, the cash receipt. Still gonna do the same thing. So fuel, let's just say they're on pump 19, hit next, and you start off the same way. So let's just say they get 452 gallons. Hit finish. Now instead of sliding the card, because they've already paid over on the other register or they paid somewhere else, you hit exact cash down here. And then what it'll do is it'll ask the company name, and this will just make them a big receipt that doesn't have time on the receipt. And it also lets them have the company name and the truck number or whatever else they need on there. Like you can just go in here and say, like JB Hunt or whoever. And then you hit authorize. And then hit OK here. Now it'll say, do you want a small receipt or a big receipt? And you just tell it big receipt, and then it makes one for you. Now for you to look at the receipts and see, okay, did they really get paid on this one? You can tell on this one because it'll say, you know, truck stop right here. I'll have to change the name of that. / cash, but it doesn't have a signature line. Just saying basically they paid some other way.
And if it has a signature on the line, then
Then it'll tell you like on this other one. Then it'll tell you right here, okay, so it's a Comdata, BFS MasterCard, Comdata, and then it'll tell me right here that I got to sign for it, and this is your invoice number. So that way you can tell real quick, okay, this one they paid some other way. They paid cash or they paid a check or whatever.
okay, and this one they paid by card.
So now with the receipt, what you'll do once it goes through is you'll just give them the top 2 copies. So where it says driver original, driver copy, you give that to the drivers, and then you guys keep the office and remittance. Or you can just keep one as well, whichever way is easier for
Don't
you
know.
guys.
We'll keep both.
Yeah, we're gonna keep one.
So, but that, you know, basically it'll make 4 copies at once, and then that way they're happy and you guys are happy.
The customer copy, which one? The customer copy, the.
Top 2
The top
customers,
one.
bottom 2 hours.
Okay.
Yep. And it tells you right down here.
Okay, very good. Nice.
Either way, I mean, you can have either one,
Okay,
but it
great.
makes it easier.
And
So.
does the printer have a ribbon or anything?
Yep, it's got a ribbon right here in the front.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just one of these guys.
And we have some extra other.
You can just pick them up honestly at Staples or Office Max. I think they're like $6 for 6 of them. And they're pretty cheap. Now,
And the paper?
the paper, you can either order from us or you can order it from any paper company.
And what is it called?
It's just, you gotta ask for dot matrix paper.
Dot matrix?
Yep.
And what's okay, the code should be on there for the ink, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just on the.
Yeah, it's on the
And
little
how
cartridge.
to put the paper inside?
So paper on here. So the way I've got this set up, there's a slot here on the bottom.
Take the paper.
Just put it up on there, through the slot, and then it comes up right here. And the hardest thing, honestly, is just getting the paper on those little pegs. So, once it comes up, just make sure and pull this forward, and then make sure it's level. And then I was just put the paper in the slot.
How to take out this one? This one more time, the ribbon? The
You
ribbon.
can move it anywhere. It'll automatically go back.
Okay.
So then just put the front in first, and then just push down there to snap it in. And I always slide it down a little bit, and then just make sure that this is forward so it makes it from trying to go back in there. And then at this point, you won't have this light on. Just flip the power switch over here in the back corner. You just gotta make sure that you have 4 lights on. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4.
So this one, this is the power.
Yep.
It's about a man.
There we go.
Here you go.
So open this one, we have to. How to open this one?
How you open it? You just pull it forward.
Oh,
Yep. So you just gotta put it in the first and then snap it back. And then I went ahead and put in probably this much paper in here, and then you still got all this paper in here too. Now,
So yeah.
if you ever need to, that's your power button. So if the power goes off, it doesn't come back on, you can hit that. And then all your wires are all right here. So whenever tech support says unplug this, plug that back in, it's all right here. The only thing you have down here is the modem. And this is plugged into the phone line that the little EBT machine is plugged into. And then the battery backup in case the power goes
The
out.
battery backup.
Yep. Not that you guys have bad power.
Backup only for this one. You bring in the battery, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay, with this system.
Yeah, but you can plug anything in. It's got extra spots. Cell phone charger, all the essentials. So, and then paper for the little printer. Honestly, do you guys have thermal paper for these?
We used to have it. So,